So, right off the bat, I'm breaking my own rules. I know the title said this video is full of healers, and while that isn't exactly a lie, it isn't fully the truth either. Now, this guy isn't a healer, but I wanted to start with him since he was the featured invader in this week's intro. Side note, if you didn't watch my most recent upload and would like to watch me draw Pepalmo, my first starter design, I suggest you watch video number 5, and Pepalmo is pal number 5. But I hope you watch the whole video. Upon finishing the design, I felt like it really didn't fit in too well on my planet, but in the universe, that's another story. I pictured this guy floating above the coldest parts of a planet that is mostly icebergs and frozen lakes. So pretty much, the concept for this line was a squid wizard encased in ice, with this guy probably being the middle stage. I'm working out a prevo where the ice is in the shape of a wizard's hat, and in the final stage the ice has become something else. But the designs are still being workshopped, so the rest of this line will be in a future video.
Tentadept. Not much is known about the alien species, but we've learned that Tentadept evolves from a species called Tentairo.
For pal number 2, I wanted to create a healer bee rather than a killer bee. Considering the fact that most real-life bees are healers, it's really sad that a lot of people consider them unfriendly simply because of their stingers. Though, I gotta admit, I am allergic to bees, so even the friendly bees make me a bit nervous. I wanted to create a bee that I could personally befriend without any worries. I wanted their sting to inject strong medicine, and I wanted them to be able to eat berries maybe, or plants in order to use their chemicals from said plant to produce even stronger medicines. But still, even their single ingredient honeys are very strong. I almost died of a bee sting at a very young age actually. I think I was about 4 or 5 when it happened. All I remember really is getting stung at the top of my head. They said it was a yellow jacket, and by the time I ran inside, my vision was blurry and going dark. Then I woke up in the hospital and never wanted to be around a bee again. I contorted the term bee sting to come up with the name.
Steeping, aka Nature's Healer, spends most of their time healing the planet after invasions. After their work is complete, their honey is harvested from the fields and delivered to the apothecaries.
By this point in the video, you'll know that I added the healer type to my world. However, this guy is not going to have the healer typing. Is this guy even a healer, you might ask? That's a fair question, considering my track record. The answer to that question would be a big fat yes. They don't really go around intentionally healing creatures or the planet. Rather, when they shed their horns, apothecaries collect these sheds to make medicines. You might even recognize the horns, as they were used as Edison's shoulder pads in this week's intro. This line was sort of based on a crested gecko, and considering the whole vibe of the pal, I wanted to include the word star somehow. It took me some time because nothing was really rolling off the tongue the way I would like, but eventually I decided to combine the words crest and estrella, which is the Spanish word for star, to come up with the name.
Crestrea, the dark and light type, live in and light up the darkest areas of the caves. Though still young, they are quite helpful during an invasion.
Here's another pal whose name popped in my head before I even started the art process. I'll reveal the name on the dex entry, but I will say that the name came to me when I was looking at a coleus plant that I had growing outside in some water, and I noticed there was some tadpoles swimming around the roots. Care to venture a guess on the name of a coleus-inspired tadpole? Coleus plants, at times, are used to produce medicine for respiratory and digestive issues. Upon learning this, I thought it would be cool to add this guy to my list of healers. Maybe their leaves and nodes will be ground up into medicine as well. The pouches you see on the cheeks are actually what you call nodes, which can be considered growth points on some real-life plants, and when moisturized they typically shoot out roots. These nodes are nearly rock hard and will deal extra damage. Watching the tadpole swim around my coleus plant, I came up with the name.
Coleus, the healer and grass type, produces bubbles of pure oxygen. A large bubble can be used as an air helmet on your underwater adventures.
For pal number 5, I wanted to design an octopus, and this is the little guy that came out of my mind. Which, I just realized, there is a squid in this video too. A lot of sea creatures being featured today. I'll try to have more range in my future videos. Anywho, The way this pal heals is through the seed on the cranium. Much like Crestrella's horn, the seed is often ground and used in small dosages in recipes and pastes. If an entire seed is swallowed, you'll be paralyzed for a full day, but on the brighter side, any ailment or disease, even life-threatening, will be healed. I pictured these guys being super jolly and always willing to help, but since the dawn of the invasions, they are frightened quite easily. Another word for seed is pip, and the family that the octopus falls under is called Octopoda. That's why I named this guy.
They have released so much ink that their entire habitat has been dyed a foggy black, making them nearly impossible to find when they're not glowing.
For pal number 6, I wanted to do my first dolphin pal. I picture these being psychic, and as part of their ability, they can sense when you're feeling stressed and provide a calming shower. I was also thinking of giving them a second fountain-based ability, maybe one that will provide a healing pulse. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. A lot of Pokemon do have a hidden ability, so who says this guy can't have an ability that has multiple uses, like healing internal and external pain? That's it. I decided I'm doing it. No, it's too late. Don't let me know what you think in the comments, unless you agree with me or disagree, whatever. I got the color palette from the Femboy Pride flag, and you'll see that the shiny is the same as the Tomboy Pride flag. To come up with the name for this guy, I combined the words dolphin and instinct.
Instinct uses their psychic powers to decide if you are a deserving patient, as performing healing magic puts a lot of stress on their body. Instinct will not heal you if they think you should die.
There's been a lot of the same thing going on in this video, so I thought I would change it up with a bug type. And I'm just realizing there's another bug type in this video. What am I even doing? I promise, I'll get better at this. Just not today, apparently. Anywho, these little critters were originally thought to be parasitic bloodsuckers. They were even nearing extinction due to being poisoned, but once scientists discovered that they drained the blood of impurities and returned clean blood, they started breeding the species back into the population. This pal is no longer considered a parasite and has officially been promoted to a mutualist. I jumbled up the words crimson and siphon to name this guy.
Crimson suck the blood from your veins to feed on the impurities before returning clean blood to your system, often keeping a little bit of your blood to feed their children with.
Creating Steebing got me to thinking, another creature that gets a bad deal on your filthy planet are rats. Personally, I'd consider them another one of nature's healers since they spend quite a bit of time gardening. So, for the 8th and final pal of the video, I wanted to create a healer rat that nobody would hesitate to befriend. Much like their real-life counterpart, they're going to be spending most of their time planting seeds, but they'll also be collecting magical pollen from the fields, which will be channeled into healing magic mostly, but of course they can produce offensive and defensive driven magic as well. I picture these guys running through the fields, but they're so short that all you can really see is their tails sticking out of the rustling tall grass. I was trying to combine the words gnaw, like to chew on something, and abra, as in abracadabra, and I jokingly said, nah bruh, and I chose to keep it.
Now bro to the healer and grass type. During training and invasions, their accuracy rises every time an attack misses.
Well, that's all the pals I have for you in this video. But before you go, there are a couple ways you could get your concepts featured on a future video. Submissions can be digital or on a clean, unwrinkled sheet of paper. Not an artist, submit a text-only dex entry. Tune in next time to figure out who's that Pokémon. Have any guesses on what you think it might be? Leave a comment. And if you ever feel like you've left too many comments, just leave 2 more. And please use this for your submissions. The more info you include, the more understanding I'll have while rendering your ideas. Understand that your submissions are not commissions, but commissions are prioritized. Thanks for watching until the end. I've decided to reduce my uploads to every other Wednesday at noon, and that's US Central Time, just until I'm finished with school. I may miss an upload from time to time, but either way, if you subscribe and ring my bell, you'll be notified of every upload. And until next time, adopt a bitch, but don't be a bitch.
fire.